Okay everyone, Infernal Shrines, run it down mid in Division 7, goes up against Fat Megatron. Now, first of all, I have to admit that I by now know what Fat Megatron means. It's basically just that Megatron is a free agent team. So it's not a 5-man, but it's like 5 individual players that have been mixed as a team for the season, which is one of the things that Heroes Launch offers if you don't have 4 friends to form a proper team with. So it's actually pretty cool. So normally I wouldn't move the Fat away, but then again, Fat Megatron sounds so much better than just Megatron, because you never really know. You know, it could be a small Megatron, it could be a skinny Megatron, it could be a weak Megatron. Like this, it's Fat Megatron, and that just has a better ring to it. So they're going up against each other in Division 7, since there's still a little bit of confusion about Division 7, and people comment and are immediately like, what's happening here? These players look like gold players. And it's like, there's a reason for that. They are gold players. So this is the bottom division of heroeslaunch.gg, and it makes the games a little bit more interesting. A Kelthas band, for example, where do you see that on the first band position? Only in Division 7. And why? Because Convection Kelthas is insanely OP when you're looking at Division 7. What we normally still see is a ban on Mal'Ganis though, and we already had Diablo banned out, but let's see if Mal'Ganis is going to be banned out next as well, or how they're going to play that here. For now, we're having the ban on Asmodan, as you do. Infernal Shrines, Asmodan, of course. Incredibly OP, so you have to make sure that you get this one out first. And are we going to see Mal'Ganis actually played? I'm a little bit confused for a second, because normally in Division 7, Mal'Ganis is one of those insta-bans that you see within a second. I mean, they don't even hesitate. And Orphea is getting banned out, so there is a chance that we're going to see Mal'Ganis here. Fair enough. Let's see, red team with the first pick. Are we going to see him locked in right away? Or something different? Speculating about strategies and what would be in the meta is normally not really the way to go, but we still have a bit of a priority to tanks in general when you're looking at Division 7. And, as I say it, a Nubarak first pick here by Megatron. Not quite what I was looking for, to be honest. I thought maybe Garrosh, maybe Mal'Ganis. There were a couple of other first picks that I could have definitely seen outside of the tank realm. Didn't expect a commitment to a Nubarak right off the bat. But let's see how they are going to shape their strategy. I certainly hope that with the Nubarak we're going to get Blaze or something on his side. Maybe Urel. But we have Alexstrasza and Murden locked in for run it down mid. So, with Alexstrasza, of course, on Infernal Shrines, you get a lot of heal value out there. Everything centers around the shrines, and therefore, if you are fighting over that specific location the entire time, then it makes a whole lot of sense to make that particular play. With that being said, we're having, right now, an opportunity for Fat Megatron to get their offlaner in. And Mal'Ganis and Li Ming. Alright, so apparently the idea is to run Mal'Ganis, at least for the time being, on the offlane. There was the heavy discussion when the hero originally was brought into the game that every main tank player for HGC, RIP, was basically saying, hey, is that really a main tank? Is that an offlaner? And then after a while, everybody started to settle on Mal'Ganis being a main tank. But the way that they are running it right now, it feels like Mal'Ganis is going to be the offlaner for Fat Megatron. Reyna being banned out here too. Maybe a little bit worried that Muradin might get hit too hard by him. A consistent auto attacker would have been good for Fat Megatron. They can still get something along the lines of Phoenix, of course, if they really want to go for that. But what do we have on the ban side? Could ban out side laners now. I mean, with Muradin jumping in, Urel, Blaze would still be great options for the side lane. But again, we've seen in the past also Physics Man running his Sonya. And Gul'dan banned out is not a bad option either. You get rid of a lot of the AoE, can be really pesky, and especially against multiple melees, he's quite powerful. But let's have a look at what's going on with this one. Right now, we have the option to go for a bit of mage power again. Jaina, for example, could be an option for them. I would like to see the offlane, as I said before. Blaze would be great. Could also go into Urel here. There's the Jaina and Cassia. Not going straight into the offlaner just yet, but Cassia for the poke, Jaina for the follow-up damage. A little bit of a lack of hard CC since we only have Muradin for stuns, so I would like to have a Blaze with this. But let's see if maybe Megatron themselves are adding another melee to the mix. You can run that Li Ming pretty much solo in the back if you really wanted to. Not that I necessarily would advise it, but if you pick a Bruiser, then you could definitely get the damage outputs elsewhere. They are going for Lunara and for Oriel, though. Okay, haven't seen that in a while. Or Lunara and Oriel, not necessarily horrible, but it's definitely a bit unexpected. I didn't think that Lunara would play a role on this map. And here's the Blaze. Actually, pretty meta builds from the two of them. I mean, not quite, don't get me wrong. But this is a lot more normal than what I expected. But then again, they banned out Asmodan and Khaldor, so you couldn't really rely on those powerhouses. So that's a bit of a downside. As it happens, we're going to jump into our first game, though. Infernal Shrines Division 7. Heroes launch GG, so let's get ready and get the party started. Game number 1, Infernal Shrines, and over to the left side we have a Physics Man today, not on his Sonya but playing Blaze, Twibble on Muradin, Bloody on Jaina, Nachtkind on Cassia, and Cheer It Up on Alexstrasza. And over to the right side, Megatron playing with Black Lutzel on Lunara, RNGesus on Mal'Ganis, we have Rainlight on Anuburak, Little Froggy on Oriel, and Couscous on Liming. I have the impression that Liming is actually French. I mean, Couscous definitely more of a French nickname, Mane playing her a lot, so there are definitely signs here. Perfect Storm for Muradin on level 1, so already we can see that we're gonna see some stacking going on and trying to get the damage increase. Currently wondering if he actually will commit to Sledgehammer on level 4, which is actually something that I like if you go for the Perfect Storm, but it's just a problem of how much sustainability after the level 13 synergy would kick in. You actually lose on that. Still a bit worried about that Oriel, I'm not gonna lie. The combo with Lunara obviously works, there's no doubt about that, but at the same time, I'm still looking at that setup, I'm saying like, you know what? Not sure if Oriel is going to have quite the impact here in the game, but we're gonna find out. Interestingly enough, we have for Cassia no Lightning Fury builds. Now, to be fair, when you're looking at the Fend build, it was actually used for a long time. And in this case, we're having on level 1 now the Charged Strike first, which is a pretty fantastic talent too. But at some point, the build priority started to shift a little bit, and we saw a heavy Lightning Fury spec for most players on the professional level. Then again, Nachtkind already basically showcasing that he is hitting the wrong direction with his Lightning Fury, so that's probably the reason why he doesn't go for the quest talent, because he simply says, well, I already have trouble enough as it is to hit the right direction with that thing, let alone speak about a specific target that moves, so I'm gonna go away from that since I'm never gonna stack anything here. Yeah, sorry for the rip at that point. Well, that was just too perfect from a timing perspective. So we have Nachtkind at the bot lane going away from that particular build, no stacking for him, and as we know, Division 7, that's where quest talents reign supreme. But yeah, top lane is Anuburak as a side laner, so I expected to have Mal'Ganis on the side lane for, I think, obvious reasons, but instead we're having Anuburak here now. I'm a bit confused, I have to admit. I'm not quite sure what the setup here is. Why Rainlight goes into an Anuburak on the side lane. Why Anuburak Mal'Ganis. Why you wouldn't go and pick the Blaze for yourself. Or at least go into a Urel or a Leoric or maybe even a Thrall. But instead go for an Anuburak on the off lane. And first pick him too. So I'm not 100% sure what the play is going to be. But I'm definitely excited to see what happens around level 10. I would assume that we are still looking at Cocoon, but where exactly is the play here? Where's the reason why you draft that particular hero? Right now, I'm a little bit afraid the reason is that he doesn't have anything else unlocked. I hope that's not the case, but I mean, it's Division 7, so you never know. I guess we'll find out. For now, he is actually starting to take that lane, and I don't know how. Physics Man on Blaze should completely win that, but he's moving mid lane because he wants to make sure that he's part of that shrine fight and is going to be a little bit quicker there. Already a nice setup, and Couscous, oh my god, gets healed by Oriel. Great play here by Physics Man, nearly getting the kill with his team, but now they lose Muradin. They could not take down Liming and get punished by Muradin falling, and that was a quick turnaround. The Physics Man himself barely jet propulsioning out of that fight, as Mal'Ganis already trying to lock him down here. Well done by the red team. Megatron with a fat plays here right now, and they are about to win that first objective. It doesn't really look like the blue team is going to contest that even anymore at this point. We have nobody rotating topside though. That surprises me a little bit. If you are already willing to give this one up, then normally you would expect them to go topside, but instead we're having actually the re-engage down here with Physics Man charging in. 34 stacks already. Down comes an Uberak, misses the stun. The Dragon Queen is in from Cheer It Up as he's trying to get the presence on the shrine. Another great jet propulsion from Physics Man. One down, Lunara is dead, and that's a triple kill. Mal'Ganis and an Uberak are all getting wrecked. And there's 37 against 12 points. Li Ming might be trying to get a couple of hits in, but Physics Man already with a peel zoning her out completely. But the Punisher gets taken by the blue team, or by the red team regardless. Li Ming, Couscous, with a place, goes in and hits the combo and annihilates 3. Physics Man might have been able to eat their damage, but as it happens, the VIP in this moment is definitely Couscous with that final combo here. Muradin, by the way, is rolling the dice right now. Level 7, trying to go in to give him the axe. Nah, screw that. Heavy impact, that's what we are going for. We are going to slow noobs down. That's why we are playing this. So he goes into the talent that we have seen in the past when it still included that mini stun. Doesn't have that any longer though. Heavy pressure in the mid lane. I kind of like that, so they get a bit of damage out of it. Considering that they started all of this with losing 3 heroes, that wasn't really too bad. And if we have so many things to talk about, I don't even know where to start. Like, first of all, that turnaround was kind of insane. I would love to talk a bit more about it. The setup that we saw from Physics Man with the jet propulsion was actually great. He's doing really well on that hero compared to the Sonya plays. That didn't really convince me the last time that we casted him. But look at that Anubarak build. Anubarak is actually going into a Beetle build. So we have the Legion of Beetles on level 4. And we're having also the Leeching Scarab. So he's going into some weird sustainy build, trying to survive through all of that. Not even going Regeneration Master on one, but Nerubian armor instead against Jaina, I suppose. So it's a really weird setup for him. And he has actually by now also switched lanes with Mal'Ganis, who now finds himself onto the solo lane, as I expected originally. But I'm still kind of missing why you would go for a Nuburak in this setup and first pick him in the first place. Like, if you at the end of the draft don't have anything else left and you're saying like, well guys, I can do that, I get that argument a little bit more than you just first picking him and saying, hey, listen, this is a crucial part of our combo, we need that. And then you go into a Beetle build. But again, Rainlight so far, outside of them dying of course in that big fight over the objective, did actually quite well. I mean, originally they were able to get those kills in. Now he's finding himself in the solo lane against the Muradin. Don't ask me why Muradin is solo laning. That doesn't make any sense either. Last time I checked, the AoE that he had wasn't really too great, so this is a bit of a weird setup. He shouldn't be there. He should actually be with if anything, he should be with Jaina, trying to set up a couple of kills and trying to get stuns in. So Muradin on that lane makes 0 sense whatsoever. Like, that should be someone else for sure. He has no business there. Muradin needs to be with Jaina, hit that Stormbolt, allow Jaina to get a little bit of extra damage in, and try and set kills up like this, because this just doesn't have kill potential. You won't get any kills unless you gank up on someone with a good flank from the side. Camp, on the other hand, is now about to be taken. And we have Physics Man going into Combustion, and Combustion reigns supreme in Division 7, as we've said before. The other day we casted a Division 5 game, and all of a sudden I saw a bunker. Didn't even know what to do with it. What the hell is this? Meta bunker plays? What's happening here? But in this game, we're back to good old Combustion. And to be fair, that has so far in the Division 7 seen quite a bit of value. You have a Ball of Lightning together with it, you have a Ring of Frost. And Ring of Frost seem to have magnetic powers when you're looking at Division 7, because once it's cast, everybody seems to be run into it instead of running away from it. So that seems to be a thing. But we have another objective spawning topside, a little bit of an early cap on the Shaman camp. It could have delayed that, simply take the camp, don't cap it, and then take it later. But now we're talking about a pretty strong objective, because this is going to be Arcane Punisher. Yeah, flanking already, coming in. Combustion being used. RNGesus is low, and that's gonna be nearly a kill, but no, Carrion Swarm keeps him alive. Ring of Frost doesn't have too much value. Muradin hopping out, about to fall. Physics Man gets stunned, goes down as well. Couscous gets the resets and goes straight in again. They're trying to get the kill against Nachkindir and against Bloody, and there they go. The kill against Cassia, and all of a sudden, Team Megatron, again with a fat place up at the top, getting 2 kills in against, first of all, Blaze, and then shortly after, Cassia. Great job. Well done by them. Murden a little bit too far out, not too coordinated, and this time Megatron not making any mistakes in their engage. 3 kills against 3 on the map. Megatron looking good here with the second Punisher coming in for them soon. And again, I have to criticize Dribble a little bit here. Okay, Bloody coming in changes things a little bit, so he tanks it, that's fine. Originally it looked like he was planning to take that solo. That would have been a bit of a disaster for them. But as they're getting the camp, the defense at the top lane has to also be set up. Just to give you a bit of an idea about the quest talents too, we're currently seeing Muradin with 7. Physics man gets blown up. There's the cocoon right there, trying to go for Alexstrasza, and that should be an easy one. Mal'Ganis with a sleep attempt, but Alex just gets pummeled into a wall. Nice leash that we just saw there from Oriel as well. Well done. And Froggy so far is doing actually really solid work. I mean, he's doing pretty well with this. 11,000 heals, not quite on the level of Alexstrasza, but he's bringing the heals when they're needed. Punisher went through the fort itself, so now every third wave is going to spawn catapults, and we're seeing the wall down here towards the keep falling too. So pretty nice setup actually for Fat Megatron. That looked way, way better than I expected after the third fight, to be completely honest with you. But again, the game is young. There's a lot that can still happen here. The level 13 talents are also in, and with that we're now seeing the eradicating spines for Anubarak, so even a little bit more aggressive with the build that he's pushing out now. We're talking Mal'Ganis, by the way, the Blood Rush now. I mean, Mal'Ganis in general is just all about like the sustain, right? He wants to have with that vampiric plays. He wants to just like have the self-sustain, stay alive during the fight. Stun setups that's strong against him. And that's what I'm still waiting for. Stormbolt into jet propulsion, and then the Jaina damage. The ring is in, and here comes the damage. Oriel immediately reacting, but everyone on the blue team is starting to get low. Avatar gets being used, but look at Anubarak. He gets Anubarak as the blue team is falling low, but still hopping in. Dwibble is about to die on Muradin, and his instinct is, instead of just hopping away back to safety and saying, guys, we just killed one, it's a win for us, he turns around and with 0 hit points whatsoever jumps back into the fight, dies, and then Li Ming just gets one reset after another and turns it around. So again, a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the red team, but that should have been a loss for them in this fight. A little bit too greedy, if you ask me, from Run It Down mid. They are definitely running it down right now. So if you are going up against the Li Ming and you have several heroes that have basically no hit points whatsoever, you want to retreat from that fight. You don't want to re-engage and greed for another kill, because once that Li Ming gets the first kill, she is just gonna bunny hop through all of you with Calamity and kill one after another, which is pretty much what happened there. We also didn't really see Cassia commit to the Ball of Lightning there either. I think that would have been probably a bit beneficial. The build, yeah, going into the cooldown. It's not even a cooldown reduction, it's grounding bolt on level 13 for her. Personally a fan of a full Lightning Fury build, and guys, builds matter. Builds do matter. You oftentimes hear the argument that on the lower ranks, builds don't really play a huge role and you can play whatever. Believe me, it matters. Yes, there are adjustments that you can make if you're playing on the lower rank, but at the same time, having a proper build is important. And we even have now white what? Diamond skin being skilled into by Li Ming, so going for a full teleport build here on 7, 13 and 16. It's interesting. I would have preferred Mirror Ball, but okay. I mean, as it stands, the red team is doing great, right? So they can go with a 16 talent advantage into the next objective here, and it's very, very tricky for the blue team, for Run It Down mid, to do anything about that now. They might have to give this one up and just see if they can maybe take a structure down at the top. I would actually like them to try and push topside right now and try and go for this fort, but they are just invading the camp, which isn't too bad either. They should still try and take the fort afterwards. So have Muradin maybe anchor here, anchor somewhere at the side. The rest of the team starts to push in. You try to get the fort so that you at least get catapults at the top. Down here, we're having a completely easy pick on the Punisher. But on a higher level, what you would have seen here is them just starting to keep only one hero here and the rest starting to rotate around. Because that fort at the top side is going to fall. And if they keep both of those shaman camps alive, if they actually manage to do that, that keep could fall too. So if you're the blue team, you really want to just like take this down right now if you can. I mean, it's going to fall eventually. But yeah, if you couldn't, it could have gone through the wall not focus all of the wall down and just like go straight for the fort, that would have been fantastic. But having 2 camps at the top is definitely going to do work. 1 fort is going to fall for sure. The question down here is just simply going to be, can they keep their keep? And here comes the interrupt on the jump. Advertise being used. Dwibble is in and barely jumps out this time. The Ring of Frost connects with 2, but Physics Man is already low and has to get out of there somehow. But Mal'Ganis goes in deep and takes them down. The Fell Claws propelling him forward. Down goes Blaze and Cassia. And this is a nightmare right now for Run It Down mid. They're on 16 finally, but they're losing everyone. Muradin is again interrupted on the jump, just trying to walk away here. The core about to be attacked. Alexstrasza trying to heal everyone, but Leeming with a teleport. And the Calamity kill gets the reset and obliterates Jaina too. What a finish here by Fat Megatron as they are going in, taking down Run It Down mid on map number 1, Infernal Shrines. GG and well played by the red team. Towers of Doom, baby! Game number 2. Run It Down mid got spanked in the last game. Boy, did they get wrecked. But Fat Megatron, they haven't won the series just yet. Towers of Doom, always a good one to come back into this. So let's see if they can maybe change things up a bit. Right now, I'm interested in the drafting in particular. Mal'Ganis! Is he going to be banned out? Yes or no? And as I said before, guys, I mean, we will have some one-sided games, and usually what I'm trying to do when the games are a bit more one-sided, outside, of course, of us having a little bit of fun in those Division 7 games, I'm also trying to explain to you a few things that teams could improve. Might help you with your own gameplay, depending on the level of skill that you play at. But I hope that you can take something from these games. So if they are not the most exciting one, maybe we can make them at least educational, so that you guys learn something that you can apply to the games that you play. And again, if you want to play in a setup like this, check out heroeslaunch.gg. You're always welcome there. Individual players can join teams, as you see with Megatron. It is a free agent team, as we said before. Bans on Diablo and Garrosh, and a ban on Kel'Thas again. My question, yes, there we go. The adjustment from Run It Down mid after game number 1, just saying, okay, Mal'Ganis, he was too much of a problem in the later stages of the game. Let's make sure that we ban him out right away. With that being said, what's going to be the first pick here for the red team? Offlaners, of course, if you're going on to Towers of Doom, Dehaka becomes another big option, but the first pick on Tyrael is not what I expected. That makes me immediately suspicious. Like, immediately I'm suspicious. This is looking to me like it's gonna be some Judgment shenanigans with like a Nova for, like, I don't know, Precision Strike, maybe the Fall stat for the Shock and Awe. Like, I'm insta suspicious when I see a Tyrael on the first pick position. Don't get me wrong. Tyrael together with Blaze can be fantastic with the added layers of defense after having Sanctification and a Bunker. But then again, we know that in Division 7, basically no one plays Bunker. And also, why would you go for Sanctification when you can go Judgment instead? That's how Division 7 thinks. If it doesn't do damage, it's not a good pick. So that Tyrael pick makes me very, very, very suspicious, to say the least. Cassia again and Stukov. Now, personally, I think a Lightning Fury build for Cassia would be great, so let's see how that works. Stukov, I don't mind, but I would love to have some setup for him so that he can get a good damage through. Malthael and Jaina. Okay. I mean, Malthael for the top lane. It's a little bit of a weird combo to have Tyrael and Malthael here, but it's not, like, too crazy. Are they just gonna try and burst on one target and then use last rites to confirm the kill? Might be it. We have, with a heavy focus on tanks, I really think the red team could just ban another one out. Yeah, of course. Of course they ban Lili. What else would you ban? I guess we're going to see some auto attackers coming in after this. Should be a main tank ban now. You could ban Muradin, for example, since they played it in the last game and it's still one of the options that's open on the board. Then again, we have Johanna, for example. So there's still a few tanks that you could ban out and limit their options depending on what you want to play yourself. But a tank ban would be solid for them right now. Unless they're afraid of Reyna or something. And they ban the Haka. They ban the offlane instead. They're just saying, okay, let's get the Haka out. No globals, no shenanigans, no macro play. And where's my auto attacker? You don't ban Lili just for Cassia. You want to have something else here. It has to be something fierce. if you're afraid of the panda. That thought process with the blinds. Okay, that's Johanna, so blinds on their side, on Cassia and on Johanna. And Gul'dan. We're still missing that offlaner. I mean, we could go crazy and say they're gonna pick Illidan. But I doubt that a little bit. Okay, Nano boosted Jaina, Nano boosted Phoenix. Depending on what you want to run here. It's not really the worst build that they have, by any means. There's the Jimmy. Alright, there's our auto attacker. Again, the builds are a little bit more normal for Division 7. I'm actually surprised. The crazy thing is, if anything, the ban pattern that we're seeing with Kel'Thas and Lily taken away. But outside of that, it's not really the craziest Division 7 game that I've seen so far. Question remains, can run it down mid, bring it back, or are Fat Megatron going to take this with a 2-0? We're going to find out now, jumping into game number 2. Game number 2. Physics Man on the left for Run It Down Mid on Reyna. We have Dwibble on Johanna, Bloody on Gul'dan, Cheer It Up on Stukov, and Nachtkind on Cassia. And over to the right side, Black Lucy on Malthael. We have Couscous on Ana this time. Interesting that your Li Ming player is all of a sudden playing the support. That's actually a really, really interesting switch. RNGesus on Phoenix, we have Rainlight on Tyrell, and Froggy on Jaina in this game. And again, Nachtkind with Charged Strike, so we're not going to see any kind of Lightning Fury build for him. Level 1 talents, I would say that the Arsenal Synergy is still something that we don't see all the time, but yeah. Outside of that, pretty much standard. The Spine Launcher, have seen it before, gives you a little more safety from the back if you feel that you have more trouble with that. But yeah, we're going to find out how game number 2 goes. Can they bring it back? Is it going to be a 2-0 victory? One of the two. So right now, the interesting part to me is definitely having that switch with Ana all of a sudden. Like the Li Ming player playing Ana. That is really something that is interesting. So yeah, let's just see how that's going to go. Again, they're playing a little bit also with the sub. It is a free agent team, so it's just basically 5 players that didn't really know each other before they played in the season. It's one of the things you can do when you at heroeslaunch.gg when you don't have people to play with. We're having a bit of a push here in the middle. Level 10 abilities are going to be very interesting, especially around Tyrael. I mean, Sanctification should be a thing, but then you are playing Division 7 here, so you never really know. Physics Man might be in trouble here. Body block attempts, so far going well, but he's able to move out. He went for Ace in the hole on level 1, and I like that. I would really just like to see him to go into Fight or Flight on level 4, and for some reason that hasn't really been a big thing in Division 7 either. Most players really go in on those quest talents, so Behemoth Armor is oftentimes being played here. But it's also interesting to see him here on the off lane. If you look at that lineup, it's again a triple back line with only 1 tank for Run It Down Mid. So it's always tricky to play that. It was never really massive meta. Having an off laner is kind of important, and they don't have that. It's a good invade down here with 4, but yeah, they take the camp just barely because the rotation from the top lane has already started, and there would have been a 4 versus 4 in just a few seconds if they didn't take that immediately. So good timing on the blue team, taking the camp away from their opponent and therefore having the pressure on the bottom of the map. But yeah, the solo lane is a little bit odd. Physics Man is going to do his thing here, but this is why it worries me a little bit for his level 4 choice, because I could see him thinking that it might be a good idea to go into self-sustain talents. And yep, that's exactly what happens. Sustaining rounds for him, not a fan. But I guess the thought process is, hey, I have to solo, I need some kind of self-sustain, and if I don't go into sustaining rounds, I'm going to have a problem. Fight or Flight, I feel, would have been the better choice regardless, but instead, we're going to have this adjustment from him. Down here, good pressure though, but the lead in experience still goes to the red team as they're having Jaina push out the mid lane. They're doing pretty well with that. That's more experience that was lost from the blue team. So this is one of the main problems. Like, you lose minion wave experience when you don't have those waves soaked. And this is exactly what happened there just now. We had 3-man, 4-man pushing the bot lane, 3-man defending, and the extra hero pushed out the middle, and therefore waves got lost. Heavy commitment to the top, by the way. Down here, 2 for 1. Cheer It Up and Nachtkind are trying to take down RNGesus. Phoenix needs to get out of this one quickly. Up to the top, we have an exchange, but this is actually well played. You can't stay there, dude. Like... He was thinking about going back in and going for another interrupt because he knew that his team was rotating and didn't really realize that he would die there any second. So Nachtkind has a very, very easy time taking him down, and that was the easiest kill of his life. So we have 2 alters against 1, meaning that now we'll have the blue team in the lead with 36 to 32 points on the core. But yeah, Phoenix was very optimistic there. So it's like, I can interrupt again. It's like, no, you don't. That's not going to work out for you. So in case that you were looking at this, like, how did this happen? So normally you will see different setups. It was a bit weird that the red team had committed only 1 hero to the bottom. Normally you see more, and it's not really a straight up fight, you just try to interrupt a little bit. But as it stands, we actually have Run It Down Mid doing a little bit better with their setups. The problem that they have is they're doing not really all that well when it comes to them keeping experience. So they're still a little behind. Level 1, by the way, for Jaina, the Lingering Chill with the Frost Charts and then the Ice Flows. So a little bit of a different setup for Jaina here, completely. You don't really see that all that much, but really attempting to work around the chill for her and try and make that a thing. Still, Physics Man just holding as much as he can as the top lane with a constant rotation coming in. He was actually doing well, sitting back and not getting ganked and taken out by them. But now we have a single altar down to the bottom of them. That penetrating round against a single minion, on the other hand, wasn't really his best move. Like, if you want to do that, just move to the side and hit all 3. But as it stands, we're waiting for the next objective at the bottom of the map. And yeah, this is also still a bit of a lead for the red team, another opportunity for them to go even. And of course, everybody immediately moves in for that. 5 versus 5 down here, trying to get some stacks for Bloody, but he misses most of it. Johanna is going in. He should try and time it. Oh my god, Physics Man gets deleted on Reyna. Doesn't stand a chance there, and that is really the signal to just simply back off. I like this a little bit more. Bloody keeping his skills for when Johanna goes in with a condemn, and that's exactly how you should play that. Wait for Johanna to group them, and then you go in and unleash your corruption. But as it's happened with Reyna falling, there's no way. This is really one of those moments where for Jimmy, Fight or Flight would really come in handy for you. So that's a big problem that on level 4 he couldn't take that, or he felt like he couldn't. But we still have both of them fairly even. I mean, it's a kill against a kill, right? And they're also even on the points on the core. The problem still remaining is the experience lead for the red team. So they're not looking too bad there. So now looking all the way up to the top, we're still seeing Physics Man with his setup, but the rotation is already underway. And yeah, he is dead. That is just way too much. There was a ping, but it just came a bit too late, and his reaction was also delayed. So heavy commitment, he's down, level 10 is in. And we actually have Sanctification. What is this, meta? What's going on here? No judgment. We actually have sensible ult choices. Megatron really wants this game, I can tell you that much. And the early game went a little bit better for Run It Down Mid, but now that we are arriving in the mid game, I'm not quite sure what they can do here. Blessed Shield, Hyperion, Horrify, alright, me likey. So far so good. Boss, by the way, grabbed at the top. So that's another 4 shots. The Ball of Lightning. And yeah, the stage is set for the mid game, and so far they're looking good. Single altar again on the map. Nachtkind already waiting for the rotation of Malthael to move in. But right now, I would definitely give a bit of an upper hand here to the red team. No questions asked. They're doing well. They're starting to take control of this game. And this team fight is going to tell us a lot of how this is going to go. Malthael here sitting at the side. Yeah, gets pointed out. Alright, he's in trouble. And they might get a kill here. Slowed. Horrify would annihilate him. Yep, and there it is. Great Horrify by Bloody. And no one attacks him. No one attacks Malthael. He still falls. They kill Anna as well. And here comes the salvo from Phoenix as they try to take it around. Dwibble is low. Nachtkind too goes way too deep. Taken out. Jaina falls, but Cassia is dead. Dwibble walks away from this one. And Bloody still with a life leech here. I think Cassia could have survived there. Her moving in again was a mistake. But regardless, they're still looking strong here with a 1-4-3 trade. Johanna is coming back. And that could be the kill against Tyrael. They just can't get close enough. But barely missing out on a follow-up kill there. And that was a good turnaround. Like the blue team able to do a lot here. Good Horrify by Bloody as well. He waited for a long time. He waited until Malthael was slowed again. And then used the Horrify. Would have been great, though, to kill him immediately. Malthael, by the way, never even used his last rights. Didn't see a chance to take someone down here. But with that being said, Blessed Shield is now ready, too. They can use that again. But again, same problem. Mid lane gets pushed out, no one rotating. There's no one coming here. So this is something you should avoid in your own games. Always have a hero ready to soak that experience. This is an entire wave that they're going to lose now. And that's the reason why, despite the fact that in kills the blue team is ahead, they're still behind here. So it's a huge problem. But at least at the bot lane, they're getting something. Okay, the fuck off, Horrify. That's what we're just sawing there. Not getting a kill, but just telling them, "Jish, get away." They didn't kill this one, but they can grab it at any point, so that works. The problem is there's counter pressure at the top. So what just happened is it's actually a massive misplay from the blue team. They are actually abandoning, or they abandoned for a long period of time, 2 lanes to try and get the bell tower at the bot side. They didn't get the bell tower, but again, they can grab it whenever. But they lost now experience in the middle and at the top, and their own bell tower is also low. So they're not really playing a good macro game at this point, the blue team. And this results in them being level 12 versus 13, just as we have the next altar spawning. And Nachkin is too far out and gets taken out too. They're not coordinating well enough here. Now Reyna is back to the top lane. He's going to try and get the experience, but once again you need to go farther and here penetrating round up to hit all of them. But they're about to hit the level 13. The problem of course is that we're already having a massive commitment down here. Johanna gets caught on the wrong end of that fight, but immediately moves out. Alright, so they're probably going to fight over the... should fight over the middle altar, if anything. This is a tricky one. They get the interrupt, but the fight is still raging on, and Reyna isn't here yet. Cassia, not either. They're trying to get a little bit too much here. Good interrupt again, here in the middle. Froggy is about to go for it once more. Nice damage down here. The Horrify is fantastic, and that's a kill right there. And now Tyrael is very likely to fall too. Jumps out, should actually be taken out, but nobody was guarding Eldruin's might. Cassia is still in. Froggy is trying to get the channel through, but this is now a great position for the blue team again. It's a 5 versus 4. Interrupt is in, and here they can go for another kill here. Yeah, that should be an easy kill on Phoenix as well. RNGesus didn't have a lot of RNG there. He is down. Dwibble might fall, does fall. Could have prevented that, but the fight is still ongoing, and with Ana being this low, you should really rethink if you want to engage into that fight. The red team is overstaying way too hard, and that's the end of Ana. Ring of Frost gets triggered, but all of them are low, and here comes Physics Man with the cleanup. Goes in, hits 1, hits 2, they're going for Foggy, and everybody gets blown to pieces. Great kill streak here for the blue team. They're struggling on the macro end, but they're definitely starting to win these team fights, and they get the shots. And since they also got this one just before, that's 5 shots fired, and they take now camps too. 9 kills against 5, barely even in experience, but they are massively ahead now with 28 points on the core against 18 on the objective itself. Gul'dan on level 13, Harvest Life, so it feels the need to really get that Drain Life talent taken and try and keep himself alive a little bit longer. Now there is not a lot of stun on the other hand, so they can't really interrupt it too much, but it's definitely not the talent that you oftentimes see. More shots fired as the mercenaries get escorted through, and Run It Down Mid is coming back into this. Now again, they have some cool moves in those team fights, but it's the macro game that concerns me when I talk about them. But now Rainlight is in trouble, and that's another good kill. Great silence with a lurking arm here. Good counter damage through the explosion and the trade. But they are in full control now of the bottom lane. They have also a lead in experience, which slowly builds up. And Fat Megatron is starting to have a bit of trouble with this. The damage from Bloody's Horrify wasn't really the greatest, but they're getting another set of sappers through as well. And with that, we're now having an easy 12 points on the core against 28, and a triple altar phase is starting. They should be able to get level 16, and with that, they will have a talent advantage over their opponent that they can run. So definitely a lot of improvements still possible for the blue team, don't get me wrong, but right now they're running with the advantages that they have. I'm not so sure about that necessarily, but then again, they are 5 versus 4 and they have the extra talent. So alright, fair enough, go for it. And they're trying to. But there's a Sanctification and Ring of Frost, so you have to kind of deal with that. Like, they go for Tyrael. Here's the Ring, there's the Sanct. They're trying to go for it, but Jaina is down. The explosion's gonna kill Nachkin. Yes, and he is down, but the shots are taken, and it's a 2-for-1 trade after all. The red team is willing to take the fight. They just didn't have, they have Holy Ground. Like, Tyrael definitely screwed up a little bit there. He should have been able to actually secure that with a Holy Ground and a Sanctification, I think. But now we're talking game all of a sudden. That's 5 shots fired right there. puts them down to 3. And with that little risky move that we just seen from them, they won the game. They're going to channel this easy peasy, and that is going to seal the deal. So we're going to have game number 3 as Run It Down Mid is able to take down Fat Megatron. And the second game ties up the series. Congratulations. Game number 3. I doubted a bit that we would be here, but we are. And we are on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So a small map to round out this series and see which team is going to be successful in the best of 3. Heroes launch Division 7. Run it down mid against the free agent team Megatron. And the Kel'Thas ban. They hate Kel'Thas. They really do. First ban every single game of this series from Run It Down Mid. They really don't like that hero. And Stukov gets banned out too. Okay, after we've seen Stukov now twice, they're apparently saying, you know what? Let's make sure that we're gonna get rid of him. That silence is just a little bit too difficult for us to deal with. And immediately they cheer it up with, that's just mean. So trying to make sure that they can't one-trick into that. The respect ban. Yeah, Stukov is indeed annoying. So Mal'Ganis is getting taken out again. And for Fat Megatron, they banned tanks in the games before, so I could definitely see them try and get rid of Diablo or Garrosh. Would say Diablo would be a good ban if they want to focus on banning out the tank line again, but that seemed to be the MO. And they're changing it up. They're actually banning out Gul'dan instead. Okay, fair enough. I mean, Gul'dan has the wave clear here on the map, and the Horrifies from Bloody were decent. They were okay. So it's definitely something they can do now. But we are back in first pick territory. And I don't know, is this a map where we're going to see Asmodan, for example, or are we actually sticking with halfway decent meta combos again? We're starting meta, we're starting with Diablo. Great hero for the map. First of all, if you go Devil's Due on level 1, of course, with all the globes and the lanes being this close together, you're going to get insane value out of the talent. But also you have a lot of walls that you can get stun combos into with a good shadow charge. And with domination then after level 16. So it's a good start, at least for them. My personal question would be, is there a follow-up with maybe like a Tyrande even? But Tyrande is played very little here. Rhaegar Arthas immediately chosen on 1 and 2. Alright. Let's go, baby. Is that an offlane Arthas? Is that a main tank Arthas? Like, I'm not quite sure what exactly is gonna go with this. Like, back in the day, this would have been a blood for blood combo maybe, but of course those days are long past. That was way before HTC. Reyna and Alexstrasza again in place. I assume that Physics Man is going to play with Jimmy again. Not a bad hero by any means. Alexstrasza is benefiting from the globes too. In terms of healers, I could have totally seen them spec into something else. Again, Tyrande would of course have been great with Diablo as a combo, but Tyrande is also a little bit tougher to handle here. So with the ult on Alexstrasza and the Dragon Queen, you have at least a couple of panic buttons that you can press if you're under pressure. And they ban out Stukov against them, so maybe that's also another preference pick for them. Burst damage, first of all, taken away. Maybe a little bit scared of the Diablo Apocalypse with a good Ring of Frost setup. Could be the case here. Could have been played Team Frost, Arthas and Jaina together. Reyna would have been also great for Megatron after they picked Arthas, to be honest. The slows alone, always proccing ace in the hole from Reyna can be absolutely great. But let's see, last ban coming in this game. What's it gonna be? Okay. Arthas and Nubarak as a combo? I mean, why not? Anything's possible there. And I feel like maybe the first game worried them a little bit. It's a little bit odd though. Not quite the ban that I expected. Cassia gets taken out. Okay. And Li Ming. Cassia Li Ming for the... I'm still waiting for that last melee pick. I really want to see if Arthur's going to be played as an offlaner or as a main tank, what they're doing. I mean, normally you would see him as an offlaner. Very rarely is he really great as a main tank position. But again, they might still decide to go for it. As a main tank, there are so many different ones that he could go for right now. But we have both of these teams are still playing very meta to an extent. Now we have a Lunara without an Auriel and Alarak. That can't go well. That has to backfire. Alexstrasza or Lunara? Like no Auriel for her? That is... I'm not sure if Lunara is going to be happy about that. But alright, we're going to find out. It's definitely not what I expected as a pick. It's not quite as crazy. But this is interesting. Last pick. Come on, what are we going to get? What's going to be the offlaner? Arthur's or... Varian! Alright, Varian, get the taunt in for this one, please. Varian taunt into Liming combo plus Cassia damage. That sounds like a great idea. And now I think Lunara is in trouble, for sure. Game number 3, everyone. Run it down mid, going up against Megatron. And we're going to find out who's going to take the series here in Heroes Launch Division 7. Game number 3, and as it happens, also the last map for this series. Reina played by Physics Man. Once again on the left side here. Run it down mid in blue. Dwibble on Diablo. Bloody on Alarak. Cheer it up on Alexstrasza. And Nachtkind on Lunara. We're having, as expected, the Devil's Due taken on level 1. Towards the right side, Black Lucy on Varian. Couscous back on his Liming. Okay, they're switching back to him on the damage. RNGesus on Cassia, Rainlight on Arthas, and Froggy on Rhaegar. So far, so good. Nothing too crazy yet. With Varian, of course, we have to double check a little bit later what exactly the play is on level 4. But I think Taunt with the Liming combo would be absolutely fantastic for them. Lunara going into Hibbity Hop on level 1. Didn't expect that either. So trying to be a little bit quicker on her feet. If Varian goes Taunt, Lunara is basically screwed. That's what I'm currently looking for. Because you are just going to set up Couscous for combos. And that should be the end of it. So Varian currently in the middle, leaving the off lane to Arthas, and the rotation for the blue team has started. Bloody with a good combo against Cassia, but there's no follow-up just yet. Okay, here come the slows. That's a ton of damage. The flip, the push, and that should be a kill. No way! He actually survives it. That should have been a kill here for sure. I think Alarak could have done a little bit more damage to that, but it's a very early tap on the fountain, so at least they succeeded in doing that. That's a big cooldown burn. Lunara trying to make it in the middle here. I mean, it's all about the poke, right? Once you have the level 7 on Lunara, then you can at least, with the Splintered Spear, start to get a bit more damage out in those team fights as well with the AoE. So this is kind of must-have talent that I still feel we're going to see here. And then you can play around that. We have, for now, Reina again at the bot lane. Like, this has been a thing that we've seen a lot from the blue team, that they just don't run solo laner against solo laner. Alright, nice dodge by Physics Man on the Howling Blast, but we're seeing Alarak in the rotation. Now, normally you would see Alarak at the bot lane, but I think the thought process here is really just try and get kills in the early game, dominate the rotation between middle and top, clear those waves out, and see if you can get a kill. You can already see that Varian is playing this a little bit more hesitant. It's very likely that happens down here now too. Split, push, combo from Alarak should be in. Yep, there's the combo. There's the damage. Lunara can't get quite enough in to really take this out. But it shows you all the pressure. Down here to the bottom, alright. 1 versus 1, setting the blind up against it. And now the rotation happens. Pings are immediately there. Or the rotation went topside. So the blue team is actually dominating the 4-man rotations quite heavily. They can't really get any kills yet. And I still dislike the sustaining rounds here from Physics Man on his Jim Reina. I get the idea, but it's really the wrong thought process. It's not something that will give you reliability later on in the game, and fight or flight, especially in big team fights when the damage comes out, is just so much better, especially when you're, for example, eating a Liming combo. So him finding himself on that off lane and feeling the need to get self-sustained is always a little bit odd. Nice rotation here from Rainlight. That one hit home, and that should be the kill. Yep, Physics Man is down. No grab on those. No, they actually retrieve all of the gems. So far, so good. But that, of course, opens up the bottom left. You get the kill, and you can immediately rotate down to get the Siege Giants. And that's what they're doing immediately. Varian went into Taunt, so thank you very much for that. It's going to be great for them. And this is really what the blue team will have to deal with. They need to deal with that Taunt plus Liming combo. If Couscous and Varian have their wires not crossed, then that should work out quite nicely. Physics Man sees Arthas and immediately is like, I don't know, I don't like this too much. Actually, we have the Icy Talons taken on level 4, so that already means that Rune Tap is very likely on level 7 for Rainlight. It's a Cool talent if you go into that auto attack and if you really want to get that extra damage in. I mean, normally really you wouldn't quite go for it. You want to go into the damage mitigation instead, but if you're trying to just have that sustained through auto attacks, then having Icy Talons on level 4 for the extra attack speed is okay. Not quite the standard build, obviously, but yeah, we'll see how that works for them. Camps are now taken too. I mean, you have quite a bit of wave clear, especially when you're looking at Rhaegar with the lightning shield, but only 1 kill in the game. And when it comes to gems turned in, the blue team isn't doing too shabby either. They are in a position where they can definitely get that completed turn in. RNGesus is alone there though, gets the stack in, and by the way also did not go for the Lightning Fury build. So again for that same build around Fend and around the charge strikes on level 1 that we've seen a few times now. Yeah, there is Arthas, and he's in a huge amount of trouble. Arthas about to die unless he gets another heal. And he just taps the fountain. It's really, really a big problem for the blue team that they just cannot secure these kills. It has happened now 3-4 times where they were so close to taking someone down and he just walks away and they're not getting those final few hits in, and they need to do a little bit better around this. The turn-in on the other hand, that one's golden. Diablo even moves in and dashes Rhaegar to the back to make sure that he can't interrupt, but now we're having the first turn-in. And the completed Diablo too, so this is actually pretty crazy for them right now with the level 7, the Splintered Spear. Now we're talking Power Spike, and this is really a moment where you need to get some value. And there's a split already happening where we have Bloody in the middle. We're seeing the rest of the team moving up topside with only Reyna holding the bottom, and Varian just doesn't have it. Varian doesn't have any kind of wave clear that is really to speak of, so this is gonna fall. In the middle, it's still Bloody trying to make sure that that Web Weaver is not getting taken out immediately. The combo misses, but the top side is just brutal. There is not enough wave clear on the side of the red team. They have a little bit, but if you think about their setup, Rhaegar has some wave clear, but outside of that, wave clear is massively in favor of the blue team. And they're using it with the objective now. I mean, this is massive damage towards the top side, and this is very likely going to be the first fort. They just need to make sure that they're not dying to the rotation. And that rotation is now aiming for, aiming for good old backliner here. That is a kill. Delays it a little bit, but she's going to fall. She is, thank God she's going to fall. Alex is down. But there could be counter kills, and it could come right now, but nope. The wolf dashes in again and takes Lunara down. It's really just confirming kills. Without Reyna, they are only having damage over time. It's a massive problem. On the other hand, Bloody gets really good damage out. Good body blocks happening. Nice, I like it. Wibble with a play. Bloody himself is able to survive, and they retrieved a lot of the gems from the heroes that were taken out. But as you can see, the first fort is now gone. Experience still a little bit better for the blue team, for the red team. But the blue team is starting to catch up. This is also, again, experience lost for the red team, who is missing out on that. But I think they're currently looking at their own turn and trying to get a Web Weaver wave in. But Reyna is needed in a lot of these fights. They have everyone so low, but they just can't get these kills. Level 10 is going to be great, because then we're going to see Lunara also. We're going to be able to create a little bit more damage out. Syndragosa, by the way, has been chosen on level 10. Yep, indeed, that happened. And here we have it. Lightning Breath. What is Lunara going to go for? Thornwood would be great. Red Weapon is ascending, and of course not Thornwood. Nope, instead we're going to see her with Leap. Going straight into the Leaping Strike, and gonna try and get that damage in. To be honest, right now, there's the taunt. That's where Leap also works. Arthas is down, and that is the best time to kill an enemy hero when their Web Weavers are coming down. 5 versus 4 on the map, and this is actually fantastic for Run It Down mid. They're looking strong when it comes to that. The wave clear, as we said before, is absolutely great, and there shouldn't really be too much structural damage. Comes in now. Reyna, on the other hand, should have seen that rotation coming, and he gets a great penetrating round off, and that was a fantastic one, but he was way far out. He could have died for sure. He should have died, to be honest with you, and it barely didn't work out. But yeah, now Web Weavers in the middle are already deleted. Up at the top, they're having 2 heroes, should actually reduce that and have a few more rotate down, because that's where the opponent's team's pushing to. But a Hyperion is already zoning them out nicely. And after the Web Weaver's taken out, this is not really where you get a lot of damage. Again, the wave clear just isn't there for the red team, and now the rotation is coming through. The problem is the red team isn't completely there yet. Diablo went way out, and here comes the Syndragosa, and all of a sudden you don't have a defense anymore. And Physics Man goes down. No fight or flight. Again, big problem for him. Middle pressure, as they just decide that they're going to give up the fort at the bot lane and instead would try and take a bit of damage towards the middle, trying to go for basically some counter pushing. Blue team, when it comes to macro decisions, could still do a little bit better, I feel. But outside of that, they're doing well. Another turn-in, and that's going to be a completed one. So it's going to be another completed turn-in for them. Oh, okay, Arthas gets pushed into. Yep, but a little... Nice, that was actually a good one. Nice damage, and the lightning breath as well. They really want him, and they get him. Arthas is down. Arthas is dead, and that was actually a fantastic kill. I mean, again, you don't have army, so Syndragosa is going to get quite a bit. Going for Diablo here is not going to help you, my friend. Like, he is too tanky right now, and there comes the leaping strike. One hit in, and down goes Varian. That's a lot of gems lost. Couscous is even thinking about recovering a few, I think, but he can't go that far out. And again, the Web Weavers are blown to pieces in the middle immediately, and then the rotation should go bot. It's a really, really interesting setup here, because I feel the red team is currently misplaying their combos a lot. They really need to look towards a taunt, into a Howling Blast, into a Liming combo, and they're just not doing that. They're always trying to do a little bit too much, a little bit more than they should, and they split their heroes too much. If they can get those setups, they can get easy kills. But maybe go for that Alexstrasza in the back. Hold the combo back. They're trying to go for it again. Varian isn't here just yet. In comes Arthas, though. They're trying to go for Nachtkin, and they nearly get it, but they need to wait for Varian. Varian is finally there, but Arthas is about to fall. Good Ancestral comes through. There's the taunt. 1 kill, 2, and that's a triple. When the Syndragosa gets the kill against your Lunara. That's rough. Good play by Anna, though. Gets a kill, but she herself falls. So that's 4 heroes against only 1. And that's the setup right there. Again, they could have waited even a bit longer and waited for Varian, but it even worked out that way. The Syndragosa finally got worth here. And Rhaegar with a quick heal on the Ancestral. That was great, too. Alright, RNGesus comes in. They decide to go for the boss. But these are the fights that you have to take. And also, you don't want to be here, Arthas, you want to wait a little bit longer. If that boss stuns and kills you, I'm going to laugh so hard. So, yeah, you don't want that to happen. If that tornado gets you straight into the boss stun, you're on camera right now, dude. You have to be careful. But the boss gets taken, and they're fine for now. But again, it is all about those taunts. Greater Spell Shield taken on Lunara on level 13, so trying to deal with Liming a little bit easier. Boss is still early in the game. We're 10 minutes in. But, yeah. I mean, it's 1/4 of each team that has been taken now. It's still really even. I mean, the kill count has, of course, skyrocketed in the last fight for Megatron. Sitting at 8 against 4. But they're not really too far ahead. I mean, not even the 4 at the top lane falls. So they have only 1/4, the bottom one that they could take out earlier. And right now, with the level 13 talents, and both of them are nearly even experience, we're going to see how much that plays out. Especially when we're looking at the added survivability of Lunara against Liming's damage. So both of the teams have really nice setups. It's all about the initiation. Can you get Varian with a taunt and then the follow-up in there? Is it going to be an Alarak that gets a good combo off against 2-3 heroes? Because one of the biggest downsides was in most of these fights that there wasn't really a 5-man for run it down mid, because they always had Reyna on a different lane. But now we could see that a little bit more, because we are entering the later stage of the game. Again, Arthur's completely isolated, and that's a kill right there. A little bit too trigger happy on the ult button from Diablo going into a lightning breath. I'm not quite sure why he thought that was needed, because that was 100% the killer. Arthur just doesn't have the mobility to do anything here, and he doesn't have the survivability either without this. Bot lane pressure, though, as they're trying to go for the keep. They should have just moved down. I wouldn't have even TP'd. Like, if 3 heroes walk in here from there, that's like several kills. Trying to play this a little bit safe here right now. I mean, we take a quick look at the damage output. Alarak with 22,000. Lunara not quite ready to get those numbers in just yet. Liming, of course, doing fairly well here too. And Liming again, not Mirror Ball on 16, going straight into Diamond Skin again. Not quite sure if I can endorse this build. This is a choice that we've seen from Couscous before. Not really a fan, my friend. Arthas is a little bit more locked down now too with his level 16 talent choice, but here comes the big fight once more, and they're going for Varian. There's the leaping strike, Ancestral is in, and that's a great one. The kill against Reyna, way too far out. Syndragosa comes through, and Varian nearly dies, but gets saved by Rhaegar, as we are having the blue team falling apart here. Nachtkind is actually kept alive. Alexstrasza with the plays. Everyone on the right side is low, but they get the kill against Diablo regardless, because there's no finisher. Again, fantastic play by Alexstrasza, keeping everyone alive. But the blue team is struggling a bit with their coordination right now. Reyna was again too far on the right side. You need to stay way behind your tank and just hit the nearest target there. With them attempting to flank, once they didn't get the kill against Varian, thanks to Rhaegar and his ancestral healing, there was just nothing really they could do anymore at that point. So yeah, the turn-in is not quite completed. They don't have enough gems, but they definitely gain momentum, and they have also the lead in experience right now. So Megatron is doing some work here. Arthas needs to be careful. Yep, there it comes, the quick attack, and that should be the end of him. There we go. I was worried for a second when the penetrating round from Reyna came in and Jimmy actually pushed him farther out, and I was like, please don't tell me you're gonna miss out on the kill here. They're not missing out on the kill, but they're missing out on the experience, and we come back to the old problem. You need to catch that. First of all, that does a lot of work, and you need to have the experience there too. It's that issue that they had the entire time. Where's your offlaner? Don't fight that fight necessarily, but it seems to be working out. RGesus should survive. No! Lunara actually gets... He should have died there. Once the leaping strike comes in... Diablo talking about leaping. He's charging in deep, and they get another kill just as Arthas is about to come back. The 4-man of them is actually doing well in these 4-man versus 4-man fights. But it's still a bit of a weird setup, having your Jimmy always trying to go for the camps. And of course we're going for a camp and the wave down at the bottom. So they get a turn in here. They're going to get that camp too. And that's a big opportunity for them to do a little bit of work here and try and get another fort down. Because so far only 2 forts have fallen in this game. They prepped the mid lane already, pushed that out. Mid lane is of course going to be accompanied by this camp too when they finally take it. I'm not sure what's happening here, by the way. They're just they're panicking a little bit. They haven't really secured the web weavers yet, and I think they're worried that Varian might be back in time. So now they take the camp, but they still need to get the turn in. And they are not holding those spots at all. So I'm not quite sure why they're not really just moving in. It's a 5 versus 4. Now Varian is starting to move back. But this is going to be web weaver wave for the red team all of a sudden, and that was a bit of a misplay. Again the Ancestral, but it's not enough, is it? No. Arthas is going to fall regardless. Arthas is down, Syndragosa came through. The taunt against Lunara, though. Baby, you can't be that fine. There goes Cassia. That's a 2-for-1 trade after the dust settles. And once again, another web weaver wave that is not going to do too much for the red team. It shouldn't. It shouldn't really be doing a lot here. Anything at all. So, weird situations that we're having here. The blue team was so sure that they could actually start getting the camp, they could get the web weaver wave and then push through, and then they kind of misplayed a bit at the camp, delayed everything, had to fight over it again, and the red team was just allowed... Yeah, bloody, we saw that. That was... There's no one over here. You wanted to go in the other direction. And then the red team gets the complete combo off. Talking combos, they're trying to go for Alarak again, but there we go. Straight for Varian once more. Physics Man nearly falling here, but they should be able to get the damage in. Another quick parry and the kill as Alarak secures that. But the fort mid lane falls, and the fort at the top side is also falling. So that's 2 down. Catapults on every lane now, spawning in every third wave for Megatron. It's 10 kills against 11. It's a kill-heavy game here, for sure. I'm still really waiting for proper 5 versus 5 setups for Megatron, because I'm not quite sure if you picked up on that, but they don't have them. They always have a hero away from the fight when it starts, and they have a really tough time getting proper combos off. Boss about to be grabbed. Level 20 is nearly there for the blue team, and they decided that in the 5 versus 4 that they're playing, they're going for it. But you know what? The red team doesn't give a shit. They're just saying, let's go, baby! And here comes Syndragosa any second. Hyperion is being used, the boss is about to be grabbed, and the fight is fighting on at the same time. They didn't even go for the boss. Good silence comes out. 1 ult had to be used, 2 ults had to be used from the blue team, but they get the boss, and they have the level 20. So now they want to have the turn in, of course. The boss is pretty much a free defense. I don't really quite want to call it free, but it's quite there. You should get a lot of damage in again, but they haven't actually started to poke against it. So the blue team gets an opportunity to move in regardless. Nice heal again. The Ancestrals were on fire. That Syndragosa, I'm not quite sure if that was really the play. They don't even have 20. But the waves are all pushed out except for the top. So it's the top lane that you're really worried about. That should be a keep here for the blue team. Especially if they can get a kill against Arthas. And there's the leaping strike and the kill. Diablo secures it with the last hit. Physics Man, on the other hand, he gets wrecked. Completely taken down here as Varian goes in deep. Level 20s are now ready for the red team. Tal Rushers for Li Ming, trying to circle through the abilities. Dwibble low, Black Lucy too, but the core might be under attack in just a second, and that boss is still there. Dragon Queen getting popped as Run It Down Mid is trying to make the play for the core. Diablo low, Diablo surviving for now, but the Fend comes in again on, oh my god, Lunara is wrecking them. Down they go. Rhaegar, Varian, and Cassia are obliterated. Alarak dies, but it's only Couscous that is back. He gets the damage in, but it's just simply not enough. Or is it? The core is on 62%, but Couscous is still firing away. He wants to get those hits in, but can he take the catapults down? That's the big question. If he gets another reset, that's all that they need right now. Here comes the Dragon Queen, or the ult, and this should be game. And it is game. The blue team able to win the series after losing initially in game number 1. GG. Well played.